Hey everybody, it is Kerry with Trail Traveler, and today we're talking about the cameras that we use on the trail. Now, I'm going to start off by saying we used to use GoPros and we got rid of them. And I'll talk about that in a little bit as I can talk about what we're using today. Our two main cameras are two DJI Action 3s. These are super reliable. The colors are great. The functionality is great. Got a front-facing screen that's also a touch screen. So like right now, I can reach up and make changes to it just by touching the front screen. So we have two of these that are in these cages that give us mount options for different microphones or lights or whatever. And we have a DJI Action 2. Now, this often lives in a cage, but sometimes it's not like this because of one very cool feature that it has. This goes together with magnets. So I can throw it on a steel bumper and get shots. I can put it in different positions and go down a trail. I've never had it fall off. It works perfectly. Now we can also disconnect these and just have the camera module if we want to put this in a small location. Then when you connect them back together, you can transfer the files, which is about 20 gigs on here, to the micro SD card. So super handy there. This one has the front screen. I also have just the battery module. If we're just trying to run for longer periods of time and we don't need the front screen, we can swap the modules out. So the Action 2 is very handy for getting into tight locations or just dropping on some metal somewhere and having it record. The Action 3s also have the magnetic mount. So again, we can just drop those in place, but they're a little bulkier. So we tend not to put these out like that. We have a main one that's recording and we have one on a handle that we're using for the outside footage. This has worked perfectly. We have never had any lost footage when using the Action 3 or the Action 2. And that's why we got rid of the GoPros. They were constant problems. Almost every single time we're out on a trail, there would be one problem or another. Sometimes it just didn't record, even though it looked like it did. Sometimes it would say, overwriting files for no good reason. I've double-checked settings, triple-checked settings, and every once in a while it would do that. We've had them lock up to the point where we've had to pull the batteries out. This is just not something we can we just can't handle that because we're in situations where things are happening very quickly. People are on trails, they're going up obstacles. We can't have someone halfway up a crazy obstacle and say, hey, can you back up and do that again? We didn't get the shot. We have to get the shots. We have to get back at home, and when we're editing, all the shots need to be there. And the DJI cameras have never failed us once. So that's why we use those. For microphones, we use the DJI mic system. Plugs right into the Action 2 or Action 3, gives us fantastic audio. So that has been a lifesaver. And if there's something wrong with it recording, the transmitter has a recording backup on it as well, so we never lose audio. So between the DJI mic, the DJI Action 3, and the DJI Action 2, that is our camera setup when we're on the trails. I prefer the field of view. I prefer the angles. I prefer the stabilization. I prefer all the stuff about the Actions over the GoPros. Now, one benefit of the Action 2 is you can take the footage from here and run it through a piece of software called GyroFlow and do post-production stabilization. So when we have it on a bumper and it's bouncing around, we can stabilize that footage extremely well, and it looks fantastic. You know, if we're walking around, or I can hand this to someone, and if they're a little shaky, I can remove all of that. So very handy with the Action 2s, and the Action 3s are our go-to cameras. So I know a lot of people, almost every week, somebody asks me what our camera setup is. So I figured, why not shoot a little video and talk about our cameras? So that's what we use. Sometimes we mount on the hood, sometimes we mount on the window, sometimes it's inside if it's bad weather, sometimes it's on the bumper, sometimes it's handheld. They are super, super flexible cameras. So there you have it. Don't make any money off DJI. They don't sponsor me yet. We'll see someday, maybe. We also use DJI drones. We use the DJI Avata, which is a little FPV drone, and we use the DJI Mavic 3. Those are the two drones that we use. And again, I love both of those. The Mavic 3, super stable, has the follow me modes, has all those things to allow me to get really cool shots. And the Avata is just a fun drone that I can chase the vehicles, I can dive off things, I can get really, really dynamic shots with the Avata. So there's our cameras, there's our drones, talked about the microphone. So if you're trying to do trail videos, I hate to say it, but in this case, I'm a DJI fanboy because everything just works every time. So thanks for watching, everybody. From Katerina and myself, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.